Hi and welcome back to the channel. This video is about a new feature I've just added to Live Stacker, which is a monitor. So if we bring up Live Stacker, there's a new little button here. If I click that, I get this window, which is the monitor window. Probably the easiest way, as usual, to demonstrate it, or to explain it rather, is to demonstrate it. So I'll just pick some data. I've already got some calibration frames set up, so I'll just run it. So it populates a grid of the subs in the directory you selected, and as you go through, or as the stacking process goes through and processes those subs, it fills in the grid with the relevant information. So it's a little bit slow. I've got the option set to weight the frames by HFR, which slows plate solving down quite a bit. So it does, however, give you most of the information to demonstrate what the features of the monitor are. So basically there's a bunch of columns that correspond to the stages of the stacking pipeline. So first up, there's stuff about loading, which obviously is reading the file and loading it into the stacking process. Then there's plate solving information. So if you, as is the case here, I've selected HFR, gives you the number of stars in the frame that plate solving finds as well. I do have dark and flat calibration frames, so it's telling me here that both of those were successfully processed, and it gives you the time that the calibration took. Moving on, there's alignment. So I've got this sort of X and Y and rotation column, set of columns here, which tell you how much in pixels and how much of a rotation in degrees each of these frames were in relation to the master frame, which in this case is the one highlighted in yellow. So normally you'd see rotations of 0, but if you have a meridian flip involved, you'd see the rotation is approximately 180 degrees. Next is stacking. So again, as with all of the other sections, you get a status and how long it took, and it tells you what the weight is, which I'm stacking on HFR, so the weight is the reciprocal of the HFR in this column here. So basically, if anything fails, and I've deliberately put 2 files in the directory that will fail, the first one has the wrong format, so it didn't load that file, tells you that, and obviously doesn't contribute to the stacking process. And the second one is I think it's a dark sub that has no stars in it, so plate solving can't work, and therefore it fails. So you can see quite easily if any subs are not being processed successfully, and this hopefully will start to give you a bit of a clue as to what the issue might be. So, you know, and then obviously you can play around with the various columns. So, you know, for example, if I click on a column, I can sort, and if I click again, it'll sort in the opposite sense. So this can be quite useful if you have a lot of data for finding you know, which ones failed, for example, or if you were interested in looking at you know, for example, plate solving times. You know, you can order by plate solving time, and you can see if there's any outliers there, and maybe that would point to something to go and look at. You can, if I want to get rid of a column, I can just double click it, it disappears. If I want to reorder the columns, I can just pick one up and drag it, pick the header up and drag it, and it'll redo the column. If I want to add a column back, if I right click, I get a menu with all of the available columns. I've basically got most of them displayed. So I previously double clicked on this load wait time, so I can add it back in. Once you've set it up as you want, and you may not obviously want all of the data, if you just go back to the main Live Stacker window and click Save Settings, then it'll save your preferences for next time. One other option, there's a highlighting option here. So if I click that, then anytime a column or a row is changed, it'll be highlighted so you can spot it a little bit more easily. So if I rerun this, I'll just make it slightly faster with some options. You can see it sort of highlights rows and columns as they change. So you may or may not like that. Obviously you can turn it off and it'll be saved with your preferences if you change it. I suppose I can just add if I go in here, I can just show you what it looks like when I just put this back to how it was. It's usually better, I find it better to sort on ID, that way you get the most recent first at the top, but obviously you don't have to do that. So if I just just simulate here, I'm going to drag another sub into the directory it's watching, which kind of simulates a live environment. What you can see obviously here is it's just added it in, and then as it goes through the stacking process you get the information. So that's it. So appreciate any feedback. So if you have any, please let me know. Thanks.